All right, let's get started. This is Introduction to Agentforce for admins and developers. Just a reminder, Salesforce is a publicly traded company, so please base your purchasing decisions on current products and services and not on any forward-looking statements that I might be making or features that are not generally available, and I will be showcasing some of that today. But before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank you for coming out to the Agentforce World Tour today, for spending the day with us, and for coming to this session to learn more about Agentforce. I'm Jennifer Lee, lead admin evangelist at Salesforce, and I work in the admin relations team. So what is Agentforce 360? Well, it's been an evolution. We started off with chatbots, which performed repetitive tasks. Then we moved on to co-pilots, which provided smart assistants. And now we're here with Agentforce. This is where we have true AI agents that truly know your business, that help plan and reason, and can take action all on the trusted Agentforce 360. So in this agenda, I'm going to give you a tour of the agent lifecycle. So we're going to talk about the build, integrate, execute, and monitor and optimize. And I'm going to also feature Agentforce 360 features that support each of these phases. So let's talk about the build phase, and I'm specifically going to talk about Prompt Builder and Agentforce Builder. Prompt Builder at its core is all about creating reusable prompts that you can use everywhere. Now, you might be familiar with Prompt Builder. You've probably seen some demos of it, but I want to call out some relatively new features that we introduced in the Winter 26 release. So we introduced multimodal prompts. So this allows you, in addition to being able to send text into your LLM, you can send images and PDFs. And this is pretty cool. So I had a prompt template where I was sending in my case attachment, so I had images and PDFs, and I was truly blown by the LLM being able to see my image, describe my image, and be able to take pieces from that PDF, like all unstructured data, and be able to use things with it. So that's pretty cool. The next feature is structured response. And this is really big because you can use it to force the LLM to provide you clean HTML or JSON output, which leads to more predictable, reliable outputs for your agents. Now, we also introduced batch processing, and that allows you to scale your agents. So now you can run large amounts of prompts, all without hitting governor limits. And lastly, we have ensemble retrievers that allow you to combine multiple knowledge sources so that you get the best responses. So next, let's talk about Agentforce Builder. And this is our modern, intuitive way for you to build AI agents and run them for your employees and your customers. So if you were at the keynote, you saw the two new changes that we're introducing. So under the hood, we have a new hybrid reasoning engine, and that allows for more predictable agents, providing business logic that they will truly follow. And you can also chain actions as well. Now, we have a builder for everyone. So if you're no to low code builder, you're going to use the canvas that you see in that middle area there. And if you're a pro code builder, a developer, you're going to use Agent Script. But rather than talk about Agentforce Builder, I'm going to do a demo. So we're in Agentforce Studio, and our fictional company, Pronto, is an online delivery service. And they use Agentforce Builder to build and run their agents for their employees and customers. So we're going to go into Agentforce Builder, and we're going to test out our Pronto customer support assistant. And what this assistant does is this AI agent helps the customer manage their orders once they're authenticated. So here we're providing the email address for authentication, and then once authenticated, it will help that customer manage their orders. Now, the key here is the hybrid reasoning engine. And why is that important? Well, you now have full control. We move from the simple prompts to more predictive logic. And then we're also able to chain the actions. So here we went from topic selector, and then it transitioned to the identify customer topic. And as we're interacting it then transitions to the manage orders. So it's all seamlessly done within that same conversation. And then lastly, we have now a deep dive debugger that allows you to see everything that the agent is thinking, and we'll see all those actions when the demo scrolls down to the bottom there. So really, we have the interface experience for our no-to-low code builders. You're going to use Canvas. And for our pro code builders, you're going to use AgentScript. But no matter what the tool, you now have enterprise-grade tools that allow you to build agents that really behave. So if you're a no-code builder, low-code builder, you're going to use Canvas. So we're going to switch over to that. And think of this as a really intelligent document that is supercharged with developer tools. So you're going to still use your natural language prompts, but you have the precision of an IDE. So you get that type ahead, the syntax highlighting, and the inline tools. So we're going to look at the topic selector topic. And what you can see here when we click on that is it's natural language, right? Here, your basic instructions where you're greeting the user and then immediately transitioning them to a specialized topic based on their intent. Now, right over here, we have two possible transitions where we can direct the user. So they can either be transitioned to the manage orders topic or identify customer. And then when we expose what's happening in those reasoning actions, you'll see that we're performing checks. And here we're looking at a check to see if the customer is verified or not. So for example, a non-verified customer would never be able to go to the manage orders because they need to be verified. So again, it's with that predictive logic, you know exactly how the agent is going to behave. Now, if you're a developer and you need the maximum control, you're going to now use AgentScript. And AgentScript is the natural language for Agentforce Builder. And the reason why we built Agentforce Script is predictability, right? You can now say, here is all my business logic, and you now need to perform based on that, constraints with conditions and expressions. Now, over to the left, you'll see the Explorer view, and that has direct access to everything that you see on the script, so such as the system, the config, variables, and the topics. And we'll let our little demo catch up to us. And when we scroll through the code, we're going to dive into the identify customer topic. So when we take a look at the identify customer topic, and we can see how it was put together, you'll see that this is very basic, right? We know by looking at the syntax what it's doing. We're asking a customer for their email address, and then we're immediately invoking a flow action to verify the customer. Now here's this chunk of information where you'll see everything that's happening in that flow in terms of the outputs being bound to different variables. But the real magic happens in this after block that you see here. And that's when the hybrid reasoning engine really comes into play, because we can say if a customer is verified, we're always going to transition them to the managed orders, right? Always. And that's the great part of the hybrid reasoning engine, is that you're always going to get the same results given the same input. There's no guessing now. So, like many systems, agents rarely work as a standalone component. they need to integrate with other third-party systems. And we're introducing MCP capabilities that allow us to do so. So how do you connect your agents to the outside world? That's where MCP, or Model Context Protocol, comes into play. And think of MCP as a new standard of connecting your agents to third-party systems, all done without any code. And you can explore those connections by going to the Agent Exchange and looking up MCP servers. Now, rest assured that this is secured and governed. So you have full visibility and control over everything that your agents have access to externally. So the systems, the tools, the data, it only has access to whatever you intend it to have access to. So now that we've integrated our agents with third-party systems, we're going to let our users use our agents. And we have two game-changing features to help you do so: Agentforce Voice and Agentforce Grid. Now, Agentforce Voice is exactly what it sounds like. You talk to the agent, and it talks back to you. And we're bringing AI voice to every channel. So for your phone channel, that's your contact center. And that is generally available as of Dreamforce in October. Now, for your digital channel, such as your website, that's coming soon. But we have that build once, deploy everywhere approach for AI voice. Now let's talk about Agentforce Grid. So Agentforce Grid is a tool that allows you to build AI workflows and run them in batch. So think of this as this spreadsheet grid that allows you to prototype those AI workflows quickly, and you can run them in batch versus Agentforce Builder, where you're doing one scenario one at a time. And the best part about this is that you can chain your actions and agents together. But like the other piece, we're going to see this in a demo. So we're in Agentforce Grid, and again, we're using this tool. Pronto employees are using this tool to prototype their AI agents and run them in batch. And what you see here is a spreadsheet, a grid, that allows for automatic responses to customer reviews. And you read them from left to right. So the first step is that we need to query data. And you can query data from either Salesforce, Data 360, or you can pull in a CSV file. So in our case, we're pulling data from the customer reviews that's in Salesforce. And once you have a record, you can pull any fields of that record, such as the customer email in the second column that you see here. Now, you can also use basic formulas that you see in this column off of any data in that grid. So here we're determining the review is positive if their customer rating is equal to or greater to 4. Otherwise, it's negative. Now, the best part about Grid is that you can also bring in AI. So in this field, this column here, we're using AI, LLM, to categorize the reviews. So here we're using GPT-4 Omni, and we're telling it, take that customer review and categorize it into one of 3 categories. So we have service, food quality, and dining experience. Again, it's just using natural language based on these descriptions, and the AI is just doing it for us. Now, remember when I talked about Prompt Builder and how you can build it once and reuse it over and over again? Well, we can pull in our prompt templates here as well. So in this case, we're using the restaurant review response template and having, again, the LLM pull that information, calculate that information for us. And here it's generating a response based on that customer review. And that's the output. So in addition to data manipulation, with Grid, we can also have it automatically trigger invocable actions, which in this case, we're having a send email action in this column here. So here we're automatically sending an email to thank the customer for their review, and we're pulling in that prompt template response. We can also update records. So here we're updating the review record, specifically the restaurant response, with the response generated from that prompt template. All right, so now let's talk about how to monitor and optimize your agents. And for this, we're using Agentforce observability. Say that 5 times fast. So you can't improve something that you can't measure. And that's where Agentforce observability comes in. So this is the tool that you would use to monitor and optimize your agents. It's built on Tableau Next, and it's powered by your data that's in Data 360. Now there's 2 parts to it. We have the analytics, which is the high-level overview, 30-foot view of your performance of your agent. But if you want to get in the weeds, that's when you're going to optimize it. And here you're going to be able to go in and see the actual user interaction, see any deviations that your agent is performing, and really hone in on what you need to focus on to improve the agent's performance. And with that, we did our full tour of the agent lifecycle, highlighting the latest Agentforce 360 features. Now, watch out for our monthly releases, because there were many of the features that I talked about that are currently not generally available. So watch out and see when they're available or when those features will improve over time. So with that, thank you. I hope you found it helpful.